to this Divine Partnership Coaching video. This is going to be Path of the Emperor, step 6. And dear masculines and feminines in the Freaky Friday switch, the last video that I did for you, step 5, was about discovering your truth. And so this step is about standing in your truth. And for a lot of you that have been dealing with, well, there are addictions that are like people-pleasing, codependency, being a yes man, putting everybody else's needs first, and having really soft boundaries. This is the time when you need to start healing those. Stand in your truth. Recognize that you are worthy of having some privacy, some alone time, to be able to tell people no, to be able to go out with whoever you want to go out with, or talk to whoever you want to talk to, and to not have to clean up other people's messes, and recognize that you are masculine. And divine masculine is the emperor. He's like the lion, that doesn't even need to bar its teeth for other people to recognize that he's the king of the jungle. He's the king of the savannah, king of Pride Rock, if you like Lion King. But right now, you are kind of in a stage of being the lion cub, and it's okay. That's where you need to be. But this is where you need to heal the traumas of the past, because you often got into these people-pleasing and passive-aggressive karmic ways from when you were younger. And you were likely attempting to assert yourself and got stomped down on it. A lot of us went through it. You were simply trying to say, hey, I don't like being treated that way, and you got yelled at for being disrespectful to an adult. Or you stood up for yourself when a sibling or somebody at the school was was bullying you or being toxic to you, and you got in trouble. Or maybe you got blamed for somebody else doing something that, that was assumed to be you, and you tried to say it wasn't me, and then you got in trouble for lying on top of not just accepting being punished for what somebody else did. Like, you really need to explore what the reasons are that you have not stood in your truth so far, and then start doing it. And especially with anybody in your life right now playing a karmic role, which means anybody around you that is in victim-villain state, anybody around you that feels like put upon, or who is reflecting your fears, whether they are acting like you're the toxic side of your mother or your exes or coworkers or friends or things of that nature, and really recognize this is why you manifested this dynamic with them. And it can even include things that are happening with your divine feminine. There might be various things playing out with them that are really going to trigger your fears. And no matter who it is that you're playing these things out with, they're going to continue. They're going to continue until you either wake up and deal with it and stand in your truth, or until it gets so bad and you keep re-manifesting the cycle of this by fearing, and being, trying to be small and weak. This is not what an emperor is, and spirit will continue to put, if you get to a point to where, like, most people would be uncomfortable enough to change and you don't, Spirit's going to start using that Wheel of Fortune. It's going to start putting lots of difficult choices in front of you, like, Lovers Reversed, where you've got multiple people that you love and you've got to make a choice, and that's probably the position that you're in. You really got to stand in your truth. And it's, it's also the Six of Wands, getting personal recognition for the good that you do, but also owning your BS, because that's a part of standing in your truth. It's a part of authenticity and growing up. And with the, I'm trying to think, like with the Six of Swords, that's the healing card. It's traveling through your emotional waters and facing your fears and really allowing those things to heal. Not running away from them anymore, which the previous steps have been trying to lead you into that. And the Six of Cups is nostalgia, looking in your past. It's also a soulmates card, and it's also about looking for who in your vibration is like an extra person that is creating challenges that you probably now need to reconcile with, your divine partner for. And with the Six of Pentacles, it's about, it's about both breadcrumbs, and it's also about accepting divine assistance. And right now, you can ignore it if you want. A lot of masculines do, but you asked for this healing. You would not be in the situation you're in if you did not ask for it. Maybe you don't even realize that you asked for it, but at some point in time, when you are in pain, likely because of either because you are tired of being in toxic relationships, you want to manifest your divine feminine, or because you were already with your divine feminine, and likely you hurt each other, and you took it on yourself. You fell on the full sword for both of you. Maybe she said something that made you feel like it was all your fault, and you asked the universe to heal you, to help you never be that person again, and to be the person that your divine feminine, likely told you that you really were: a good person, a person of honor and integrity, who makes good decisions and is loving and is an emperor, and if you had not asked to be healed in that way, you would still, one, you'd probably still be in a toxic relationship with them, or two, you wouldn't be in a place where you feel called to watch videos like this. Or, if you're seeing somebody else going through this, you wouldn't feel called to better yourself in the ways that you are, and you wouldn't be having this magical, absurd experience that you are. And you did ask for that. And so now it's time to apply the lessons, start applying the lessons that you have learned. Practice them. Stand in your truth. And you don't have to be a dick, but be assertive. Be kind. Kind is not the same as polite, and it's not always the same as nice. A lot of kind things are nice, but kindness also includes being willing to tell people when they are overstepping your boundaries. And this lesson will likely take a little bit of work, especially because any karmics that you've entangled yourself with are very likely to also be soulmates, in the sense that you have a karmic contract with them. You probably have something from past life that either, you guys both agreed that you needed to heal it and reconcile it in another life, or you simply agreed that there would be a point in time when you would be ready for healing and they would come and play a part with you. Or it could be very simply that you already, especially if this is somebody who is an ex, or somebody that you have dealt with before in this lifetime. It could be that something that created a trauma for you did not get healed. You did not get full closure. And as you work with them, as you embrace the absurd of the situation that you're in and use it to heal yourself, you will heal. You will also help them heal, and you will release yourself of that karma. So really, recognize that standing in your truth, having healthy boundaries, it can feel challenging at first when you've grown up in a situation where you're used to codependency, toxic masculinity, toxic femininity, and it can feel weird to suddenly be in a healthy independence, healthy interdependence, and to be enlightened, and to be trying to practice that stuff. And it might feel at first like, upholding your boundaries is like being parental, or that you're punishing yourself as much as them, but it really isn't. You got to look at the bigger picture. Like, when you look at it like you're punishing yourself or them, it's like you have the picture like up to your nose, and you can only see this small part of the picture. But if you bring it out, you can see the bigger picture. There's a lot more to it. And if you practice this one skill, you're actually going to have relationships all over, work, with your family, with your romantic partner, that are going to be so much healthier, because you're going to learn and really experience just how much it affects the rest of the relationship, and how much it affects you when you stand in your truth, when you know what you want, when you know who you are enough to be able to say, this is a line for me, or this is a deal breaker for me. And it also will help you start to recognize who are your karmics and who are in your soul tribe, especially your divine feminine, because it's likely up to this point you weren't sure. You're probably still going to have some questions on that up to this point, and that's fine. Do your own work. There's a reason for that confusion, because you don't need to be focusing on other people right now. You need to be focusing on you. But there are people in your life that are there to help you do that. And the way to do that is to start standing in your truth and just hold within your heart the faith that they are capable of getting onto their own healing path and healing, and that you are worthy of following your own. And if they are meant to stay, they will stay. If they are not, then they're either going to be repelled from your vibration, or you're going to get so disgusted with them that you get them to leave, or spirit is going to create some sort of tower moment that is going to end things, especially because you're likely with somebody who's reflecting your old ego stuff, and so they're likely used to toxic relationships, and they're used to manipulating things, and they're used to sweeping things under the rug, and creating chaos and conflict, and then coming back as if nothing happened. And so if what you need is a big thing, if you are the type of person that you have to feel like you did everything possible to try to salvage the relationship first, which is something you need to heal from too. But if that needs to occur, then Spirit will make it happen. You might find out that they cheated on you. You might find out they stole from you. You might find out that they, broke into something of yours, or were, pinching off things of yours, or that they allowed somebody that they knew, their children, anything, to start to basically treat you disrespectfully, or they might start talking to you disrespectfully, things like that, that are going to, your lesson in this dynamic with your karmics is to learn to stand up for yourself in respectful, kind ways. That's what an emperor does. Page of Cups, the Knight of Cups, even a lot of the king, or not cups, the pages, the knights, even some of the queens and kings, they still often do not feel worthy of standing in their truth, and just saying, this is me, and I love me, and I am not going to invest in or allow other people to invest themselves in me if they're in toxic cycles. I want good, I want ease, I want joy, and we often allow other people to mistreat us. Your path, dear Emperor, Divine Masculine, path of the Emperor, there's a reason I called it that, because you are learning to be Divine Masculine, and Divine Masculine loves himself enough to know that he is worthy of standing in his truth. So whatever happens in your karmic dynamic, it is not there to torture you. It is there to teach you to love yourself. And if you've manifested a circus of chaos around you, it's because you weren't doing that on your own. You weren't doing it when it was calm, and you asked for this healing, so the universe put you in a situation where you were forced to work on yourself amongst the chaos. And here's the beauty in that. You are doing it. And you can't make up stories like that. And as you start to get past this step and look back on that, there's nothing better for building your sense of self-worth than saying that you gave your all to a relationship that clearly wasn't meant for you, but you didn't wreck it. You did good. You applied a lot of lessons that you probably either, learned from your divine feminine, or that you learned that will help you connect with your divine feminine. And for once, you were able to free yourself from a toxic commitment. And even if you're not there yet, that's what I'm saying is in the future. That's what's likely coming up if you're entangled in any third-party situations. And I've been seeing it happen over and over and over again. This is part of the path of the Emperor. And that includes you, divine feminines and empresses, when you do your Freaky Friday switch. You're going to be doing this too. So, make sure you guys cross-watch each path, because you got to learn both to achieve true balance and be a divine partner. Alright, dear emperors, please let me know if you have any questions. I am happy to answer them.